Happy Wednesday, everybody, and what's up, guys? This is Courtney. You are in for, well, no, you're not in for a treat. Well, unless you enjoy my podcast, then you are in for a treat. Welcome, everybody. It is the Black Dad Chronicles. I am your host, Courtney McIntosh. I've kind of got a loaded show today, mainly because I am a nerd, and today is Wednesday, so of course, comic books release every Wednesday. If you guys who don't know, I'm very into comic books. I love comic books. I'm at the comic book store every single Wednesday, trying to not spend $50 on comic books. And I read them all, even though right now I have like a stack of probably 50 books that I need to read. But it's like each week I just keep buying new ones and I try to read them, but they just keep piling up. So, much to my wife's chagrin. But anyway, I am your host, Courtney McIntosh. And as always, if you want to join the Black, well, no, I'm not going to call you guys a nation because I only have like maybe 10 people that listen to the show, if that. Sorry, I got thrown off because my wife is calling me, and I did send her a message and tell her I was podcasting. But hey, what can you do? But anyway, where was I going? Oh, okay. So today is Wednesday. All comic books come out today. I am a fan of DC. I am a DC fanboy. I prefer DC Comics over Marvel. I think Marvel Comics are way too convoluted at times, most times. But I also do get comics from Image Comics, from Boom Comics, So yeah, so let me tell you guys what I picked up today. And excuse me, I know I sound stopped up. It's because my allergies are going nuts. But first, let me tell you what I'm reading right now. So, this morning I just finished Detective Comics number 969. It's the beginning of a new story arc. And it looks like we're going to have... So, the last story arc in Detective Comics was called A Lonely Place of Living, where Tim Drake, who is the current Red Robin, and it looks like future Batman, comes back in time from the future, where in his future, Batwoman set in motion a plan that basically took down the whole Bat family and changed the world, and basically plunged Gotham and the world itself into chaos. So at the end of that story arc, they actually, the hyper time caught up to Tim Drake, and he was able to be sent back to the future by, Red Robin and the rest of the Bat family. In that story arc, we did see the debut of Brother Eye into this version of DC. This is DC Rebirth came out last June, where pretty much all of your favorite comic book titles got... all your favorite DC comic book titles got, rebooted. So, so that was the first time we saw Brother Eye, Brother Eye is a satellite that Batman built pretty much to monitor everything that goes on in the entire world, and it ends up, getting him into trouble because at the end of the New 52, which was DC's last reboot in 2011, Brother Eye essentially takes over the world and turns your favorite heroes into superpowered cyborgs. So Batman Beyond has to go back in time to where it started, but he comes back a little bit too late. Thus starting the Futures End storyline. I'm sorry, starting the Futures End storyline. So it looks like in this, issue of Detective Comics, we get the start of the arc Fall of the Batman, and we see the very last page. We see a shot out of the victim syndicate. So I'm very excited to see where that goes. Currently, well, what I'll be reading as soon as I finish with this is Punisher number 218. What Marvel did is they launched Legacy. So what they did pretty much was, it was kind of a soft reboot in its own, and they went back to the original numbering of their book. So like Punisher right now, this is number 218, but it's the first book in the Marvel in the new run, Marvel Legacy. So it's Punisher War Machine Part 1, and I was actually and I haven't checked out the Punisher series on Netflix. I plan on starting that today. So it looks like this is called Punisher War Machine. So it looks like Punisher was given the War Machine armor. So I'm really excited to see how that goes, because we know Punisher is like insane. Frank Castle is insane, uses guns to just kill everybody. So imagine how souped up he'll be with the War Machine armor, which is just guns upon guns upon guns. All right, so I'm reading that. Like I said, as soon as the show's over, I'm going to get to reading that. And then I'm going to jump into Action Comics number 991, Action Comics number 992, and Doomsday Clock number 1. So there's been a storyline going on in DC, in Action Comics, called The Oz Effect, and it's actually crossed over into Detective Comics. Tim Drake was involved in that. So pretty much Superman's father comes back. Jor-El comes back. It turns out he was not killed on Krypton. So he comes back, is trying to convince Clark that the humans are not worthy of him. He's way too powerful for them. He should not see himself as one of them, because he is a god. And he is a god among them, and he should be treated as such and carry himself as such. So then Jor-El is basically trying to destroy the world, and going by Mr. Oz. So that's where we see a guy pop up, Mr. Oz, and it turns out to be Jor-El. So I'm really excited to read the last 2 issues, because now at the end of issue 990, he went after his grandson, Superman's son, Jonathan, and is trying to bring him over to his side, pretty much. So I'm pumped for that. Then I'm really pumped for Doomsday Clock. This is going to introduce the Watchmen back into the DC universe. The movie The Watchmen was probably the one comic book movie that pretty much the movie was like straight up the comic 101 to a T. And it was a graphic novel. Marvel owns them. And now we get the Watchmen in the DC universe. So I think I'll make another episode. Well, you know what? All right, after I blow my nose real quick, sorry, I don't want to, blow my nose on air, you know what I'm saying? Give me a second, I'll be right back. Okay, sorry. Wasn't going too long. So, what we find out in this universe, now in the cause of DC Rebirth, it looks to be Dr. Manhattan. And like I said, I haven't read any spoilers. I still haven't read Watchmen number 1. Doomsday Clock number 1. But it seems like Dr. Manhattan from the Watchmen went and created his own, because he said that at the end of the movie, The Watchmen, he was off to create his own reality. So it looks like this is the reality that he created, and that's DC Rebirth. So pretty much we get the main characters, Superman, although it seems like Batman hasn't been really affected that much. So what happens is pretty much, Wally West was one of the main ones affected. Wally West, Flash. I hate how they're doing them in this run, but I still got some more books to read, so don't necessarily know how his arc is going to end right now. He has a heart condition. He apparently died at the last issue of Titans. So I haven't read the follow-up issue to that yet. I have it. It's in my queue to be read soon. Like I said, I have about 60 books that I need to read. So the reason why I'm talking comics is because, like I said, today's Wednesday. So before I go any further, let me go tell y'all what I got. And I know this would probably be easier if I was doing this on video. It'd probably be cooler if I was doing this on video. But I'm not. Sorry, guys. I'll post a picture on all the social media. And if you want to follow me on social media, you can go to the Black Dad Chronicles Facebook page, and you can go to Instagram /Black Dad Chronicles, where I post pictures of my kids, food, comic books, whatever. So, first book I got today is the DC New Talent Showcase #1 for 2017. Pretty much what I was told was it is a bunch of collection of short stories of certain characters that they're going to be putting more focus on towards the end of the year and the beginning of next year. So on the cover, it's Dr. Fate. We got Katana from the Suicide Squad movie. We have Deadshot, Wonder Woman, Poison Ivy, and Duke. I forgot Duke's last name, but he is Batman's newest protege. Next, I have Black Panther #167, continuing the Claw Stand Supreme story arc. I'll just read y'all a brief description of it. Just as Wakanda is transitioning into a constitutional monarchy, something from its ancient past now threatens to upend everything. The gods of Wakanda, the Orisha, have gone missing, and in their absence, mystical portals have been releasing deadly creatures. Thanks to her time in the plane of Wakandan memory with the spirit who takes the form of her mother Ramonda, Shuri, who is T'Challa's sister, recognized the creatures from Wakandan legends. Claiming the Orisha are dead, a Wakandan named Raz the Exhorter is leading the people to worship a new god, Sifako. T'Challa and Shuri hunted down a group of the creatures only to discover they were holograms, made of sound. Ulysses Claw has returned to Wakanda. Working with Ezekiel Stane, Dr. Faustus, Zenzi, and Raz, he foments chaos to distract T'Challa while he steals Wakanda's lifeblood, vibranium, to restore his lobotomized sister. And that's not all he's stealing. Midnight Angels Anika and Ayo, and an old friend of T'Challa's, Asira, have been captured and are being held in the nearby hostile country of Azania. If the Black Panther is to save his friends and his country, he will need allies. ... So, since I got back into comic books last year, it's only a couple Marvel titles that I really like. Black Panther, of course. Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur, of course. And I say, of course, because they have black protagonists. But from Marvel, that's pretty much it. I mean, I bought all the Civil War 2 books, and it was pretty good, but I didn't necessarily like the ending. So, yeah, I mean, check out Black Panther. Also, I have Moon Girl, and it's not Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur. It's just Moon Girl, #25. I still have probably the 10 books prior to this that I still have to read. Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur is one of my favorite comics over the last year. It's really lighthearted, really fun. Just a different type of comic book that I'm used to. So, then I have Aquaman Annual #1. Aquaman has probably been my favorite comic book from DC. Well, consistently my favorite comic book from DC since Rebirth started. I have probably the 8 books before this to read before I get into that one. After this, I have Batman Annual number 2, Date Night's Last Rites. I was told by Jen, the manager of the comic city that I frequent, that this book is a tearjerker, especially at the end. And then after that, the last book I got today, Animosity Evolution number 2 from Aftershock Comics. So, Animosity is a very interesting book because it explores what happens if animals became sentient. So pretty much what happened was, all of a sudden, one day, animals just woke up and became sentient. And they basically started, battling back against humans. Didn't care if you were a meat eater, didn't care if you were vegan, They just started fighting back against their masters. So, the main story follows a little girl. I forgot her name, and I messed up because she's a real cool character. And her dog. Her dog's name is... Golly, I forgot his name, too, because Animosity number 10 came out probably like 3 weeks ago. So it's a really cool story about what happens in the animal apocalypse. I guess we'll say that. So I'm reason why I'm talking about comic books today. I'll be talking about comic books every week, but the Avengers Infinity War trailer came out today, and man, oh man, was it awesome. I've probably watched it about 20 times today, since I got back from dropping my kids off at school this morning. Holy crap, I can't wait. I can't wait for Black Panther in February, but I can't wait for Infinity War. We were, the internets were saying that the trailer will probably be released with Star Wars, because Star Wars is a Disney property, and Disney also owns Marvel. So we were led to believe that we were still a few weeks away from the trailer, because Star Wars comes out December 15th. I am recording this on November 29th. But man, all of a sudden it came today. And I kind of had a feeling we were going to see it today, because Variety came out, and Variety is always there. Variety magazine. Whenever Marvel's newest movie comes out, Variety always kind of like releases a story and behind the scenes pictures of it, and then shortly after that the trailer comes. So we got the Variety picks this weekend. But yeah, man, I can't wait. In the trailer we get, Tony Stark and Doctor Strange. It's a lot of Doctor Strange in the trailer. It's a lot of Tony Stark in the trailer. It's a lot of Thanos in the trailer. And if you haven't seen Thor Ragnarok, in the trailer we kind of see what we can assume would happen in the aftermath of the end credit scene in Thor Ragnarok. We see Loki with the Tesseract. Looks like he's walking through a sea of dead Wakandans. He looks like he's been in a fight. We all know Thor ends up on the windshield of the Guardians of the Galaxy ship. Rocket, Groot, Drax, Mantis, Gamora, and Star-Lord. So we get to see Thor, still with one eye. We don't know what happens to Valkyrie. We do see Hulk in the trailer. Bruce Banner in the trailer. And we know he was with Thor and Loki and them on the new Asgard on the ship. So I'm excited for this movie. I love comic books, and I go see every single comic book movie that comes out. I did see Justice League the day it came out. Overall, I enjoyed Justice League. Justice League, the movie, and the current other big DC story arc involving Batman in the comics, which is Dark Knight's Metal. What both of these things so I don't like Cyborg. I do not like the character of Cyborg. I think he's bland, kind of has no emotion. But what, the Dark Knight's Metal comic book is doing for me, and what Justice League, the movie, did for me, is it made me kind of care about Cyborg. So, I'm excited to see. We just did get news that Cyborg comic has been canceled, so it will end with Cyborg number 20 in January, and I believe that Cyborg will become the leader of the Justice League in the comics, and that's kind of like where the end is going to lead of his solo comic is going to lead into. But yeah, I really like Justice League. I thought it should have been longer. You could tell that because a lot of scenes that were in the trailer weren't actually in the movie, so it looks like a lot of stuff got cut out. I hope they do with this movie like they did with Batman vs Superman and release an Ultimate Edition. A lot of people had complaints about Batman vs Superman when it first was released in the movies. I didn't necessarily have any complaints because if you ever read the Batman vs Superman Dark Knight comic, you would know that they fought each other in the comics, but people were complaining Batman and Superman are friends, they wouldn't fight each other. Yeah, they would. And remember, Bruce has a contingency plan for every single member in the Justice League. So, in the Ultimate Edition of Batman vs Superman, it re-added some scenes that actually were cut out of the movie, out of the theatrical release, and it made the movie make more sense. It was more coherent, more linear, instead of leaving you to guess. Like Avengers Age of Ultron made you guess what happened in the scenes that they cut out. But if you bought the Blu-ray, you'll get those deleted scenes, and once you watch them, you're like, oh, so this is what happened. So I thought Justice League was good. Wonder Woman was great. Cyborg was great. Flash was Aquaman was cool. Batman was okay. I think Ben Affleck is the best Batman we've seen on screen. No disrespect to Michael Keaton or Christian Bale, but I think Ben Affleck's the best Batman we've seen. I liked him a lot better in Batman vs Superman than I did in Justice League, because he seemed like it made him seem like he took a back seat in Justice League. So. Yeah, man. I mean, I'm excited. I'm not excited for the fact that next year, Marvel has Black Panther coming out, has Avengers Infinity War coming out. I believe. You know what? I'm gonna pull it up. Because I believe Marvel has like maybe 4 movies coming out, while DC has 1, and that's Aquaman, which I'm really excited to look forward to. But for DC to have 1 movie coming out and Marvel has 4, that's crazy. So let me just check. I'm going to the Google Marvel 2018 movies. Yeah, Marvel 2018 schedule. Marvel's been doing a phenomenal job with the TV shows, the Netflix shows. All right, so I'm going to, looks like Cinema Blend. Release dates. When was this article updated? So we get Black Panther February 16th. We get Avengers Infinity War May 4th. We get Ant-Man and the Wasp July 6th. And you know what? Ant-Man was a surprising movie. I really enjoyed it. I love the fact that it was a caper movie. It was a caper. I just really enjoyed it. Like, Ant-Man was just really, really fun. And I don't think Marvel expected it to be as fun as it was. I know I didn't. I actually didn't have anything. I didn't know what to expect going in to see Ant-Man, but I was pleasantly surprised. One of my favorite MCU movies. So it looks like that's July 6th of 2018. So it looks like we have, 3 movies coming out in 2018 from Marvel. Now I'm just going to go to the Google and check out DC. I can guarantee you that's only Aquaman. DC movies 2018. And it seems like they've, 2018. And it looks like, and pretty much they kind of announced that they were going to redo how they release movies. Because from what it seemed like, they were going to kind of go to try to the Marvel route where every movie that they release kind of ties into the other movies. But once they saw the success of Wonder Woman, and Wonder Woman was essentially a standalone movie, they're kind of rethinking their strategy. So Aquaman is supposed to be an origin story of how Arthur Curry became Aquaman, so that's that's what we got on the docket from DC and Marvel as far as the movie goes. Now, one thing DC does, I think better than Marvel, is release animated movies. The thing is, their animated movies don't tie into their overall, DC, cinematic universe. But, that's either here nor there. I mean, they're enjoyable. I'm really interested to see what DC does with Flash, because it's rumored that, Flash has been having some issues. I believe they've gone through 2 directors. We have Ezra Miller signed, as the Flash. Although after seeing Justice League, I will say that I do, and I'm a big fan of the Flash TV show. I will say that I did prefer Grant Gustin. I do prefer Grant Gustin, who plays Barry Allen on the TV show Flash, to Ezra Miller. But this was a young Flash. He was just starting. He actually made the comment in a movie, "Hey, I just run fast and push people," all right. So now that I'm done with the comic book talk, now that I'm done with the movie talk, hey, go check out the Avengers trailer. I've been running into an interesting situation with my older 2 kids, right? So my son, he's 13, 8th grade. He has a crush on a girl. And my son is at the point where he's 13, but he's not yet interested in girls. He's just interested in being a kid. I understand that because I was the same way. I was probably that way until 16, 17. And, I was one of those, I was one of those people who did not feel the peer pressure to lose my virginity. Because, and this is gonna sound crazy. My theory was, because look, I'll be honest, I'm really honest on the show. My first encounter with sex was through pornography. And I believe that's something that I'm still paying for now. The effects of that, the way I view women sometimes, it's negatively affected me. You know what I'm saying? Porn, look, man, some people will tell you that porn is, is good. I mean, it's nothing wrong with porn. It's okay to watch it, but science has shown, that watching pornography constantly, does kind of rewire your brain. So I feel like at 36 years old, I am still feeling the effects of, pornography has had on my life. And it is something that I still struggle with to this day. Like I said, my dad died, I was 10. We got when he died, we brought some of his stuff back from California. He had a bunch of movies and stuff like that. And he also had porn. And, me and my sister at 10 years old and my little brother at 7, we watched the videos. I mean, and we sat up there, together and watched them. You know what I'm saying? Now, we weren't doing nothing crazy or trying to emulate the stuff, but it's it's something that it's something that I guess I can't necessarily describe it, but it's had a negative effect on my life. So I say that to say this. So at 16, 17, 18, the way I looked at sex was like, yo, if I wanted to go, get sweaty and burn a bunch of calories, I'd just go grab a basketball and go hoop. And that's honestly how I viewed sex. I just wasn't interested in it. I liked girls. Like I said, like I've told y'all before, I was the king of the friend zone. But that's kind of how I viewed sex. So I hope my son and my daughter have not been exposed to pornography. I know I haven't exposed them to that. And I still haven't had the sex talk with, my kids. And I'm realizing that, I probably need to, because I want to talk to them about it before the streets do. Now, my son has a crush on a girl, and so the way the way I found out is he was texting this girl over the summer, and they're just friends, strictly platonic. So I asked my wife, how did they meet? So she's in the band, he's in the band. At the last band concert of the year last year, she told my son, the girl in question, I'm not going to name her because I'm not going to, just put kids out there on my podcast like that. She said, hey, do you want my phone number? And I guess my son, being, the aloof 13-year-old he is, said, okay. So she just took his phone. Well, no, my wife said that she was like, let me see your phone. And then he was like, okay. And he handed her, his phone. And when she gave it back to him, she created a contact with her phone number and stuff and gave it to him. And I know he likes her because, they're friends. But he gets nervous and like shy when you ask about her. Like, he gets nervous and shy when, about around girls too. Because I actually also think he has a crush on one of my friend's daughters who's 12. But, so last night at the talent show, my wife said, he was just sitting up here, sitting in the audience, watching his friend just sing. And then she asked him about her, and he just put his hoodie over his head and just slumped down in his chair and just walked away. And my mom said he did the same thing, like just turned and walked away. So my son has a crush on a girl. He likes a girl, but he doesn't know what to do. But he also doesn't want to talk about it or know how to talk about it. Like my son, trying to talk to him about certain things is just hard because he doesn't know what to say. And, I guess he doesn't know how to approach me. And I think one of the, side effects of not having a father is, I don't necessarily know how to approach him about it. I can't say, hey, son, so is this girl that you like, tell me about her. Because he's just going to shut down like he always does. But he talks to my mom. He doesn't talk to my wife that much about it because, it's embarrassing for him. But my wife told me that my daughter, who is 11 and in 6th grade, has a crush on a boy. And it's like, oh, Lord, I don't know what I'm going to do. I mean, hey, man, can I just be honest? I want my daughters to stay, young forever. And I know they don't. But, I just want them to stay my beautiful little sweethearts forever that, I can just take care of. And, they're going to be my sweethearts forever. But they're not going to be kids. They're not going to be babies forever. And I have to deal with them, growing up. My daughters, getting older, liking boys, stuff like that. And I don't know how I'm going to handle it. My wife, like my daughter talks to my wife, and she's been constantly going to her. And my wife would tell me, and she'll like, don't say nothing because, she's a little bit embarrassed by it, but she at least talks to me. She talks to me about it, so I don't know how she'll respond if, she knows So I'm like, all right, cool. Now, Jasmine and I are really close. But she hasn't said anything to me about it yet. So I don't, I'm kind of stuck on if I should ask her about it or if I'm gonna just fall back, let her come to me. So what should I do? Please help me out, guys. Like I said, man, if y'all have any topics, any comments, you can always email me at blackdadcrying@gmail.com. You can also join the conversation on the Facebook page, the Black Dad Chronicles Facebook page. Also on Instagram. But like I said, Instagram is just a bunch of pictures of me, my kids, my wife, food, and comic books. So that's going to be it for this week. I know I talked a lot about comics this week, but I mean, I love comics, and it's just one of the things I'm going to talk about. But another thing I was excited about, and I love rap music. I love rap music. Rap is my favorite genre. But I got to be honest, I'm not into the new rap. You know what I'm saying? I'm not into that. I'm not into all that. I'm not into all that. 21 Savage, Lil Yachty, y'all can keep all that. That rap is not for me. And those guys, Lil Uzi Vert, you know what I'm saying? Those guys have said, hey, our music ain't for 30-year-olds, you know what I'm saying? And that's fine. Make music for your audience because your audience is going to enjoy it. I'm not saying it's whack. It's just not for me. Surprisingly, I've been going through my Google Play Music the last couple weeks, as I just listen to all the normal music I listen to. I listen to a bunch of Christian rap, a lot of old stuff. So I saw Jaden Smith release the album. I'm like, man, what is this, dog? Jaden Smith, Baby Fresh Prince. Why is this in my suggestions? You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, whatever. So I was on Instagram, on the Explore page, and I see a clip of his video for his song Icon. He's standing next to a Tesla, rapping, and I was like, man, Jaden Smith can spit a little bit. So I watched the clip again. I'm like, oh, all right. So the name of the album is Sire. Jaden Smith is rapping his ass off on this album. Like, now, one thing I don't like is, what I'm saying, it's kind of emo, cause, he's a kind of like a teenager. But man, his album is tight. Like Jaden Smith, I was pleasantly surprised. Jaden Smith got bars, man. Like Jaden Smith is rapping, like rapping, like rapping, like he can really rap, y'all. I'm not, you know what I'm saying? It's not me just like, hyping it up. Like Jaden Smith can actually rap. So, I say that because, I was listening, just like I said, trying to find new music. That Jaden Smith album, name of the album is called Sire. That's dope. Fab and Jada put out Friday on Elm Street. That album is super dope. Big Crit, Forever is a Mighty Long Time came out a couple weeks ago. Super dope. As a matter of fact, I haven't been able to stop listening to that Crit nonstop. I'll be honest, man. And man, it took me, why nobody tell me about how dope Anderson .Paak was? You know what I'm saying? The only thing I'd ever heard from Anderson .Paak was the song off NBA 2K17. And I want to say he had a song on WWE 2K17. But man, that album Malibu, that John is dope, man. So I mean, hey, let me know if y'all want to talk more about music. Send me music to listen to. But yeah, man, that's it for this week. Like I said, be sure to download the podcast wherever you can download your podcast. Google Play, iTunes. Leave me a review. Like, share, download. What else I want to say? Oh man, that's it, y'all. Y'all have a great and blessed week. And I will get back with y'all next Wednesday with more comic books, more news, whatever, more music come out. You know what I'm saying? Let me know. I mean, I'll let y'all know. It's the Black Dad Chronicles.